Long ago in the ancient Akan kingdom of Denkira, there was a princess named Ya Serwa, but she was unlike any princess the people had ever seen. While other girls in the royal palace wore fine cloth and practiced court dances, Ya Serwa was busy lifting grinding stones and chasing goats with her bare hands. Her shoulders were broad like cocoa sacks, her arms thick like palm tree trunks, her laugh loud enough to scare monkeys out of trees. By the time she was 15, she could wrestle any palace guard and win. By 18, she could carry a full barrel of palm wine on her head and not spill a drop. The people whispered, "How can a woman have the chest of a blacksmith? She'll break her husband's back on the wedding night. No prince will want that one." The royal elders begged the king, Nana Kofi Owusu, to soften her. They tried beads, they tried dance teachers. They even tried herbal teas to shrink the muscle. None worked. Ya Serwa smiled through it all. "Why should I shrink what the gods have grown?" she would say. When Serwa turned 20, her father sent her to a grand ball in Kumasi, hoping she'd find a suitor from among the noble Ashanti houses. She wore kente, gold bangles, and a royal anklet from the Nana's treasure room. But the moment she stepped into the palace hall, silence fell. The highborn ladies from Ejisu stared. The royal sons of Tecuman, Bekwai, and Mampong whispered and giggled. "She looks like a war general. Does she crush coconuts with her bare hands too? If she hugs me, I'll pass out." Serwa stood tall. She danced once, alone, then returned to Denkira with her pride intact and her heart slowly bleeding. That night she climbed the hills of Obuasi and screamed into the forest, "Let the world laugh. I will find the reason for this strength." And the trees seemed to whisper back, "You will." Weeks later, news arrived from the Volta region. A dark creature had crawled out of the deep caves near Willy Waterfalls, a black beast covered in red dust, as tall as a silk cotton tree, with claws like machetes and breath hot enough to roast cassava. The villagers called it Etuofo, the bullet beast, because no arrow or gun could pierce it. It flattened farms in Ho-Ho, destroyed bridges in Kapando, and headed west, toward Denkira. The king of Denkira called on warriors from Navrongo, Nzulezo, and Akwatia. None returned. The people began to pack their things, preparing to flee. Then one voice rose in the palace, "Let me fight it!" Everyone turned. It was Ya Serwa. The elders laughed nervously. "This is no time for jokes. This is not a wrestling match. You'll only provoke the beast." But Nana Kofi Owusu looked into his daughter's eyes and saw fire, not pride, not stubbornness, purpose. He gave her a charm woven by the palace priestess and said, "Go, my daughter. If your strength is a curse, let it end there. If it is a gift, let it speak for itself." Serwa travelled east for 3 days, passing through Bunso, Baguro, and Aburi. On the 4th night, she arrived near the Davili forest. Smoke filled the sky. Villagers hid under trees. Even the birds were silent. Then thunder. But it wasn't the sky. Etuofo emerged from the trees, taller than a palm tree, eyes like hot coal, chains of skulls hanging from its arms. It roared, shaking the ground, and charged. Serwa didn't move. At the last second, she dodged and struck its leg with a carved hardwood staff. The beast screamed. She ran up its back like a squirrel and wrapped her arms around its neck. It roared, flung her into a tree. She rose bleeding and laughed. "Is that all?" she shouted. "I thought you were hungry." The beast growled and opened its mouth to burn her. "Shh!" But she threw the priestess's charm into its throat. A spark, a scream, then stillness. The mighty beast of Yuli fell. and Serwa stood over it, bruised but unbroken. She returned on a palm-woven stretcher, led by singing villagers from every corner of the eastern region. Kente was thrown at her feet. Drums were beaten for 3 nights. From Tamale to Takoradi, her name became legend. Yaserwa, the warrior princess of Denkira. Suddenly, suitors arrived, dozens of them, from Cape Coast, Kumawu, Bauku, and even the chief's son from Accra. But Serwa smiled and said, "I did not train these arms to hold any man's ego. I trained them to lift a kingdom." And with her father's blessing, she became the first female general in Ghanaian folktale history.